Dr. Luther Castillo, thank you so much for making time this afternoon. I wanted to start, if you can talk about the fact the Electoral Tribunal declared Juan Orlando Hernandez the winner of this recent vote. However, the OAS, even Bloomberg magazine here in the United States have called for fresh elections. What's next for the country of Honduras?
Then what next for us as part of the social movement in Honduras? And we are committed to fight for the liberation of our country. That's the number one that we assure. That's what our people are demonstrating in the street. This is something very interesting who is happening. This is a historical movement in the country. That's the first time in the history of our country that the young people are in the street. Our youth are in the street fighting the military with their hand, with rocks sometimes, but they're fighting with their body, the military who is shooting them, who are killing them in the street. Then what is next for us is continue fighting, continue demonstrating, because this is not for us for a party, this is not for us for election, this is a social movement. This is a people movement to rescue the country from the hand of the corruption, from the hand of the drug dealers, from the hand for us who has been submitting us to be the miserables against the miserables.
Can you describe some of the irregularities observed in this past vote?
As OAS say in part of his report, they have been found the number one alteration first and the number of the people who are going to vote. We have some municipalities who only have 15 or 18,000 people, but they have a list of 16,000 voters, and they have a school with 5,000 people. How can that be possible mathematically? The other side is how they buy voluntarily. They were buying voters everywhere over the country. They found out almost at 7 or before 7 when the people go out, and after they vote, they're asking them what they vote for, and they start to recognize that they were losing the election. And first, they close all the electoral area before hours. Usually we close after 6, we close at 6, we give people 1 hour more until the line of people who are waiting to vote finish. But this year, every places have to close before 4. The only argument that the tribunal is saying is that their hard drive there was no more space in the hard drive. That's why the system come down. There is no argument that they can cover this really big corruption inside, this big fraud in the election, and the people feel that they went and vote for the alliance.
How did Honduras get here? You served in the government of Jose Manuel Zelaya before the 2009 coup. Take us back to that time and the role of the United States in that moment, especially the Obama administration and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
It was the United States was providing a military aid for the same military back home who are repressing our people. It's something the same of what didn't happen now. Then we are getting repressed in the street with tear gas, who was with the same ballot of the American taxpayers. Then it's the same reality what is happening with this part of the lobbies in Washington. I had the opportunity to come to Washington. It was a huge lobby to support the coup. And they even transformed the concept. They was saying that it was a government succession in the process. How can military arrive to the house of a president, break the door, and took him and drop him in another country? Cannot be a coup d'etat. And the politicians here were discussing if it is a coup or if it is not coup. Then it was something really difficult that we survived, but our people went to the resistance. Our movement, like different organizations, most of them, like unions, went to the street. But the biggest difference in this time, the unions are in the street, but who are in front of the battle are our young people. And this situation is more worse than 2009, because we know that in 2009 they killed many people. They killed journalists, they killed some members of the union, they killed attorneys. But today, in less than 15 days of this hardest movement in the street, the people have been blocking the street in more than 150 points all over the country every day. But they have been killing more than 34 young people, 15 years old, 18 years old, 25 years old. Yesterday at 9 p.m., they killed a girl of 12 years old. Then people demonstrating peacefully in the street because government and the military regime think that the way to stop those young people going to the street is killing them. And there is no way that that can be happening.
Tell the viewers of this network, U.S. taxpayers, how they enable this deadly crackdown on the people of Honduras you've just described.
I think U.S. taxpayer can help us calling their representative to stop that the money that they pay for their taxes to go to the military aid for Honduran military, because they repress. We don't produce gun, we don't produce tear gas, we don't produce ballot. All this equipment we're getting by with U.S. taxpayers all this is going to repress the poorest of the poor, to killing all those young people in the street, to throw tear gas against the mother who are demonstrating in the street, because they're not demonstrating because maybe not because of they support Zelaya or they support Nasrallah. They are demonstrating because they think that the corruption has to stop in the country. The government, people from the government robbed $390 million from the Social Security. That money that our workers are putting right there, a little piece by piece for 50 years of your life in the Social Security, to be able to get a pill for your high blood pressure when you become 50, 60, or to be able to take your child when they get sick to the doctor. Today they rob that money. The corruption, people are tired of the corruption. People are tired of lack of opportunity. People are tired of lack of education. People know that we live in a rich country, in a country who have a sea and the Pacific and the Atlantic, with a rich culture, a humble people with high level of solidarity. But the corruption in the government is taking more than 70% of the money of the country. Then they don't left nothing for people. They don't left nothing for medicine. There is nothing there. Then the young people are willing to change that reality. Young people are willing to put their life in the altar of sacrifice to change that process in the country.
Why does Honduras have this special relationship with the United States, in your view? What is the U.S. imperial interest there? I
think the geographical, geopolitical location of Honduras play an important role in what the U.S. Role play in our country. I think we have the most important base, the base of Sotocano in Comayagua in Honduras, and most of the operation is running over there from that base. It was the base where the Contra was controlled in Nicaragua. The FMLN was controlled in El Salvador, the same base where they flew to kidnap Aristide from Haiti, and the same base where they flew Manuel Zelaya when they took them to Costa Rica. Then something is going on over there, but we are very, we want to call the attention of people, the assassination and violation of human rights. This is worse. The control of power of those corrupt politicians, all the power in one hand, and the constituency is here in the base of the bottom. There is no way that they can use that power because they don't have authority. Because the constituency have to give you the authority to use that power. And the only way that they can see to use that power is militarizing the society, is repressing the people, is killing the people in the street. That's why many of those young professionals, we are standing up today, and we are not afraid to be the voice of the voiceless. For those people who are in the street fighting for a better society, for our sisters, that they, with the efforts of our parents, they go to school. But if they want to find a job, they have to go to the most corrupt people in the government and give them a letter to be able to get a job. What is the capacity that they have? What is their performance at the university and the school? And on the other side, they have to accept the harassment of the head of the government office to be able to get a job. That thing have to stop in this country. That thing have to stop. We think that we have the right We have the right to live in a country of peace. But we want to talk about this narrative that they are trying to bring here to the United States, that we live in a polarized society, that we need a reconciliation. No, there is no way. We don't live in the polarized society. We don't need a reconciliation. All the people, our friends, our parents who vote for another party, we live together. They go with us to the demonstration. What is happening in our home right now are the military repressing people and killing the people in the street by the order of a corrupt government. And the military are the same poor people. What happened in our country, how you go and join the military is because you are poor, you don't have the opportunity to go to a school, you don't have a job, then you join the military for a miserable money to just to feed your children, or you can survive.
What is at stake for the people of Honduras right now? Over the past few years, we've seen several leftist Latin American or South and Central American governments be replaced with right-wing governments, and years of social and economic progress undone almost instantaneously. What can change about the people of Honduras' life because of this election and the result?
And I think this battle today, this movement today, this is more than election. This is more than what we are living today in the corruption and election. Is how we can survive as a people. How we are determined today to stop all this process, all this corruption, as this miserable corruption who has been happening for years and years. And we have been seeing it every day. And today we say it's enough. It's enough, because then the election become like the last a small piece, a small water who go inside the glass, who throw out all the water. But right there, that has been the poverty. More than 80% of the deep poverty in the country. The electricity going high every year after the same corrupt people from the government privatize the electricity in the country. The cell phone and all the communication is going high after they privatize all the communication in the country. In just 3 years, they are privatizing more than 90% of our rivers. They're taking indigenous people from their land and kicking them out of the land. They're killing Garifun Afro-descendant people because they live in the Atlantic coast to sell their land to the foreign biggest company. Then we decide, if we continue like that, there is no way that they're going to send us. You know, there is no way. They won't send us to the mountain. They are using our coast. They are using our mountains. They will continue killing us. Then we decide today to stand up and say there is no way. We have to fight for the future of our children. We have to fight for the present. We have to fight to change today. There is no way to wait more to change our reality.
Dr. Luto Castillo, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity and to be the voice of the voiceless.